done. Obviously, at this point of defeat, how do you harness the emotion of that to turn it into motivation? And also, as one of the leaders of the group, like, what has your message been to the guys to kind of pick morale up?
I suppose the message has been that, like, we were a little bit off. So the last couple of days we've been very honest and open around our performance and some of our shortcomings. So that's been important, and then it's just been about turning the page and getting excited about another week. And the message has been, this is the last week probably as a group together. Different guys will go and other guys will come in now going forward, and so it's important to enjoy it. But you enjoy it when you put in a performance that's a proper performance, not just by having the week together. So I suppose the message is delivering a proper performance on Saturday that can mean that we finish on the tournament on a good note.
Thanks, Cameron.
James, what is specifically about the challenge that Italy will pose? We think the 2 years last time out in Rome, it was a pretty first top of the line team that probably had it more difficult today than lots of people had imagined.
Yeah, I think they're a very good attacking side. Their attack's really evolved, and so our defence is going to have to hugely step up from where it was in the weekend. Counter-attack, I think our kick chase, our connections are huge. You saw on the weekend, they've got guys like Capuzzo who, if you're not building connections and you're not defending in twos and threes, your defence can come under real pressure. So I'd say that's probably a big one for us, is stepping up in that area.
Thanks. And the last question in this section, BBC.
Did you all watch the game back collectively? And given the fact that it's outside of your control this weekend, psychologically, how important is it to lay a big marker down with the performance and bonus point win, and do everything you can to try and win the tournament regardless of what happens everywhere else?
Yeah, we'd all look at clips. We wouldn't all watch the whole game collectively, but we'd look at footage together and take the main lessons. And yeah, it is important, and that's one of the other main messages. Is there's obviously a lot going on in terms of different permutations and so on, but it's about focusing on what we can control and getting our bits right, and let's see what the rest happens then.
Okay, that's it for the live section. The rest is embargoed until midnight tonight. Murray.
Have you ever supported Scotland?
No, I haven't. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, having all 3 games on Saturday, it'll, hopefully we'll be able to sort of put the feet up and enjoy the 2 games. If we put in a performance that we're happy with.
A bit strange. If it doesn't go your way, let's say you do a good job against it, and you'll have a triple crown in the bag, though. Do you think as a group you'll be able to say that was a good championship, or will it just be one of frustration given France?
Yeah, I think we'll always be frustrated probably with the performance in the weekend, and but it is what it is now, and it's about sort of trying to turn the page a little bit. But yeah, we know ourselves that we were a little bit off on Saturday, and they were unbelievably good on the day, and then the outcome sort of looked after itself.
I don't mean to put you in a spot here, but asking about Caelan, but like his interactions with Gardner seem to be a bit tricky. Let's say, I don't know if you were aware of that or listened back to it, and you've been in that situation with refs before, trying to manage that. What's your perspective on how Caelan's doing with the captaincy? What you see behind the scenes as well as that kind of stuff in terms of leading the team?
Yeah, I think he's doing very well. I think his demeanour is generally always very calm, which I think the refs like. So yeah, I did notice that he was a bit like that in the weekend, but look, it's a tough role for refs as well. You know what I mean? They've got to make split-second decisions. There's a lot of pressure on them as well. So we're aware of that too.
Thanks, Sinead and Neil.
James, just for you, this championship, like 2 starts coming on twice. Then how would you describe it from that view?
Good, yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, as you said, started the first couple of games and been on the bench for the last couple. And I suppose it's just about putting your best foot forward, isn't it? And trying to contribute to the team as much as you can. And yeah, I mean, there's huge depth now in my position across a number of positions, so it's great to have that competition in the squad.
What were those words that Joe said to you after he got the yellow card the last day? What did he say about it afterwards?
What did Joe say?
About the yellow card?
To me?
Or just in general to the group? Did he put the hand up?
I don't think he said anything. I think he knew himself, like that he made an error there, and sometimes those things happen. So it is what it is now. He put his hand up, and it's time to move on, I think.
Neil?
James, just to follow on from that theme, and it's something we spoke to you about in Portugal, about the discipline and the high penalty count. The penalty count has come down in the Six Nations, but the cards are probably still higher than they should be, particularly compared to leading up to the 2023 World Cup, and I think it was a card every 9 games you were averaging over those few years. How difficult is it to strike that balance, and how much work are you putting into to play on the edge, but to keep the cards out of the game?
Yeah, it is difficult to strike the balance. I suppose, as I said before, for us, it's sort of just look. We pride ourselves on being a sort of a smart team. So I think I've said it before, but it's the difference between sort of those unavoidable penalties and the avoidable ones, and we're always trying to limit the amount of avoidable penalties that we give away, and I think we've by and large been okay with that, and then sometimes there's just unavoidable ones as well that you give away just by playing on the edge and wanting to be aggressive and get after teams. So it is always a balance we're trying to strike, but yeah, I mean, the teams are very good now. A team like France, you don't want to be giving them too much access into the game, and Italy will be the same this week, so it's something we're definitely aware of.
Johnny?
James, Caelan got over the line, didn't touch it down. It's happened a few times in the matches so far. Do you think that's an area that could be improved on? Is it technique, or is it something you can work on?
Yeah, I think the main area was just we weren't probably clinical enough in that first 20. Like, I think we sort of dominated possession and territory in that first 20 minutes. We had a number of entries into their 22, but it was 5-0 to France after 20. So certainly when we get into the 22, that being able to be a bit more ruthless than maybe we were on Saturday is definitely something that we have taken as a lesson from the game. I think they were probably better than that than we were. They were a lot more clinical when they got into our half. They came away with scores more often than not. So yeah, we have to be better this weekend.
Is it something you discuss? Saying, lads, we're getting over the line, but we're not getting what we should be getting from it. It just happened more than once or twice.
Yeah, it's tricky because I think Caelan, it was a very good carry. It was just a very good piece of defence. I think it was Aldris under him, and obviously we had another incident over in the Millennium. Was it Mac got held up as well? Was it Mac or Jamie? For those two, I don't know that there's much else you could have done. Certainly when you get very close to the line and you get forwards that are in sort of 2s and 3s and you're getting into that shape, we do talk about like trying to play underneath them, because we don't want to get held up, because obviously it's not like you get a scrum 5 anymore, it's goal line drop out, so it can be a big moment.
Yeah. Just finally, you mentioned the first 20 minutes. Do you think that changed the complexion of the whole match, the fact that you didn't get on the scoreboard?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it gave them confidence, and maybe they grew off the back of it. Because like generally when we're a team that when we get into 22, we are usually very clinical, and we are good on that area of the pitch. So yeah, probably maybe we got a little bit frustrated as well. But you know, it's like that in some games. Like the first 20 minutes against England, we were probably weren't as good as we wanted to be, but we sort of managed the game and we got there in the end. And it was probably, it wasn't just down to that first 20-minute block, it was other things as well that we probably could have done better.
Thanks, and we'll finish up with Derek.
Modern Legend hasn't got St Michael's put you on the SCT after you turned up in KG1. So you would have known Peter O'Mahony as growing up as a boy, as a person in school, knowing you were going to Leinster and all that. Did he turn out to be the Red Menace, whatever, or did he turn out to be somebody completely different when you just suddenly turned up in the Menham? And can you remember, was your first sort of playing against him, did you come to blows with him, or did you want to come to blows with him? Or?
You called him a red monster a minute ago. Is he a menace or a monster?
Yeah, I mean, like he's obviously definitely a competitor on the pitch. Like, you know, he plays on the edge and so on. I'd say he brings the best out of other guys as well. I think he's always done that in the team. He's kind of, it's sort of an intangible thing, but you know, it makes it feel right, if that makes sense. But off the pitch, he's great crack, like great fun. Like he'd be a big personality, and so yeah, I mean, he'll be missed massively.
Was he completely different to what you thought he'd be, in other words?
No, I don't. No, I wouldn't say so. Yeah, I mean, on the pitch he was the same, but I'd say off the pitch he's a little bit different maybe than some people think.
And have you ever been a victim of his notorious snoring?
His notorious what?
His notorious snoring. Have you ruined him?
No, I haven't. There's a lot worse than him, to be fair. Bundyaki, yeah. Andrew Porter is the one. I had to stop room with Andrew Porter because I just couldn't sleep.
Okay, Shane, last
Thanks,
question.
Peter. Hi, James. Just a quick one. As it is, when we talk about power kind of imbalances, is that simplistic, and is it a factor that they can roll these giants off the replacements bench?
Maybe a little bit simplistic because our set piece was very good. I think we were 100% at scrum and stuff. So, like our defence wasn't where it needed to be, but we probably didn't put ourselves into the positions to be as effective as we would have liked to be, if that makes sense. So, probably when the ball went away from us, we didn't work as hard as we usually do to sort of earn the right to be loaded, to be set, to be able to get after the opposition. So I think a lot of it was sort of our work off the ball that made, you know, usually we'd be very good at, but we were a little bit slow to load to get set, and then we sort of paid the price of it. So.
Okay, thanks, James. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.